The dark psychology of the Pirate Corporation. Close your eyes and breathe in. Can you smell the salt air? It's thick, carrying the scent of rotting timber and stale rum. The year is 1720. You are standing on the deck of a British merchant vessel. The sun is high, and the Caribbean water is a perfect turquoise. The horizon is empty, yet strangely, the hairs on the back of your neck stand up. If you want to understand the pirate captain, you must forget the romanticized Hollywood illusions. There are no charming rogues swinging cutlasses amidst roaring laughter. The reality of the golden age of piracy is far darker and infinitely more calculated. To become a pirate was, essentially, to run a violent corporate enterprise. The ocean was their office, blood was their currency, and the men at the helm were not disorganized rebels. They were the most cold-blooded CEOs to ever walk the earth. A truly great captain wasn't the one who killed the most men. He was the one who knew how to weaponize terror to extract wealth without shedding a single drop of his own crew's blood. The velvet-wrapped blade. Look over there. A ship appears in the distance. It flies the flag of the British Empire. It moves sluggishly, fighting the current as if weighed down by a massive cargo. The merchant captain smiles in relief, ordering his ship closer to greet a fellow countryman. He has no idea he is sailing straight into the jaws of a monster. The ultimate goal of a pirate was profit. However, a full-blown naval battle with cannons was a massive business risk. Gunpowder was expensive, shattered wood required costly repairs, and human lives were irreplaceable capital. The ultimate predator wins before the first shot is ever fired. To achieve this, they employed elaborate deception and terrifying camouflage. Artificial drag. They threw heavy barrels overboard, dragging them behind the ship with thick hemp ropes to fake a lumbering pace, playing the role of a wounded animal to bait their prey. The cluttered facade. Supplies were piled haphazardly on deck to enhance the illusion of a slow, harmless merchant freighter. Concealed firepower. While merchant ships painted fake cannons to look intimidating, pirates did the exact opposite. They used painted canvas to hide their true number of deadly gun bullets. Through a spyglass from afar, all the victim saw was a fat, slow sheep gliding across the ocean. The brand of death, the Jolly Roger. And then, when the distance closed and escape became impossible, the trap snapped shut. In the blink of an eye, the harmless facade was torn away. The ropes holding the dragging barrels were slashed, unleashing the ship's demonic speed. The camouflaging canvas was ripped off, revealing dozens of cold iron cannons pointed directly at the prey. Finally, the false British flag was hauled down, replaced by a void of pitch black. The Jolly Roger, the skull and crossbones, rose to the top of the mast. Silence fell over the water. The merchant sailors stood frozen, their hearts hammering against their ribs. They realized the truth too late. They weren't meeting a friend. They were staring at their executioners. This flag was no joke. It was the most successful and brutal marketing campaign in human history. The skull and crossbones delivered a chilling, unambiguous brand promise. Hand over the cargo and you live. Resist, and everyone dies. The dark psychology worked flawlessly. In the vast majority of encounters, merchant ships suffered an immediate psychological collapse and surrendered without a fight. The pirates got the gold, and the victims kept their lives. The flag did the work of 100 swords, conquering the victims' minds before touching their bodies. A perfect business transaction. The economics of agony. But what happened if a merchant captain was too brave or too foolish? and decided to fire his cannons. That is when the businessman mask slipped and the true monster emerged. The price of resistance was hell on earth. The pirates didn't just kill. They turned the deck into a nightmare, torturing sailors in front of the survivors. This brutality wasn't just blind bloodlust. While it helped extract information about hidden loot, it served a much colder purpose: marketing proof. For a brand to hold value, it must prove its power. A bloody massacre today was an investment to ensure the next 10 ships would tremble and surrender tomorrow. They wanted the traumatized survivors to carry these horrific tales back to the docks, spreading terror among other sailors. Extreme violence was the most effective word-of-mouth advertising of the 18th century. The cruelty was meticulously calculated to save ammunition in the future. The paradox of power, the fragile throne. Yet, deep within this ruthless system lay a stunning paradox. To the outside world, the captain was a god of war. But to his own subordinates, he was not an absolute dictator. He was a CEO, fully accountable to his shareholders, the crew. He ruled not by royal blood, but by the consent of outlaws. If a captain made poor business decisions, became too greedy, or constantly forced his crew into bloody, unnecessary battles instead of using cunning deception, he paid a steep price. When the crew had enough, there were no secret assassinations in the dark. A public trial would be held right on the deck, where the crew stood as judges over their captain. The verdict for losing their trust? Usually, he was stripped of his rank, disarmed, and marooned on a barren sandbar with nothing but a single pistol. That was the price of power. The ultimate predator was always being hunted by his own pack. The legacy of shadows. Ultimately, the life of a pirate was a short-term contract. The hangman's noose always dangled above their heads. The golden age has faded into the past, their ships rotting at the bottom of the ocean, their gold lost to time. But their brand remains. They were not just thieves. They were the architects of fear, cold-blooded businessmen calculating every move in the shadows of the ocean. They proved that humans could refine cruelty into a flawless business model. But remember, these ghosts never truly vanished. They just changed their disguises. They no longer use canvas and cutlasses. They use digital phantoms and complex contracts in modern skyscrapers. The ocean is still vast. The fog is still thick. And the predator is always closest, exactly when you feel the most safe.